welcome back, Hammers and Chords. I've got a quick video today to show you the Harley Benton guitar I bought a couple of months ago. I'm going to go in and show you what it's like basically out of the box and give you kind of what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what I'm probably going to do with it in the coming weeks. Two quick things. I'm not going to play it a ton. I'll play it a little bit, but I think we all can agree that you might be listening to this on your phone or crappy set of speakers at your computer. So I'm not sure how much value it does for you to listen to it. You don't even really have it through any decent speakers here. I'm just, recording it on my iPhone. So, just don't understand why people do that anyway. The second thing is I want to start out with a joke because I always like to do that. So this one you've definitely heard before, but I think it's a good one. What's the difference between a jazz guitarist and a rock guitarist? A rock guitarist plays 3 chords to 30,000 people. A jazz guitarist plays 30,000 chords to 3 people. All right, with that, let's get going. Okay, let's talk about this guitar. So a couple months ago, on a whim, I bought a Harley Benton guitar. I bought 2 actually. They were so cheap. And I actually have an unboxing video where I got this giant box with the guitars and a couple cases. And I was really amazed at how nice they were right out of the box. So the guitar that I started with was I don't even remember what it's called. I'll put it in the description. But basically it's a Gibson SG Custom clone. So it's a vintage white color and it's got the 3 pickups, gold hardware, binding and everything, set neck, of course. And this guitar is amazing. It was $140 when I bought it, and the shipping was like $50, and I had 5 things, so we'll call it $150 total shipped. And the construction of this guitar is really, really solid. Obviously they got to cut corners somewhere, and this part here and here is where they cut corners. So the electronics are okay. The hardware is, it's passable. The tuners are pretty weak, but the construction of the guitar is really, really solid. And the features are pretty amazing. Set neck, 24 frets, bound. It's not rosewood, it's some sort of, actually I think a synthetic wood of some kind. Okay, let's do a couple close-ups here so you can really get a sense of the guitar. I'm going to start out here with the finish. And the finish is an aged white, or it's almost like a yellowish white, but it's not as yellow as it looks in the video. It's actually a lot closer to vintage white than the video is showing. And you'll notice here that, the finish is really well applied, and there's really very little issue. There's 1 or 2 minor marks here and there, but we're talking $140 guitar, and is really just really well done. One of the things that was weird to me is that these pots have silver top hats, and everything else on the guitar is gold. But in fact, I looked at vintage Gibsons and they're the same way. I just thought that was a little strange. Same thing here with the switch. The switch is the basic switch they use on every single guitar, so it's actually silver, and they just threw a gold washer and nut on it. The bridge is fine. Nothing special. The thing I'm not really a big fan of the gold in general, and I know it's a vintage, style, but for some reason the gold here looks weird to me with the frets being nickel or silver. So, that's just a personal preference. The other thing that's interesting, and this may be more the vintage thing or, money saving measure, all 3 of these pickups are exactly the same pickup. They have the exact same resistance. So they just put 3 of the exact same humbucker in the guitar. I don't know if that's on purpose or, like I said, just to save money. And here we just look at some more of the finish. Really good. The block inlays, really well done. And really no major glue issues or, trying to fill in gaps. They're really pretty good. The fret size on this guitar is pretty small. So these are really vintage size frets. I bought another guitar from Harley Benton and they were very different. And I don't know if it was, maybe the manufacturer, they had a different factory or something, or they were trying to make this vintage. And you can take a look at the binding, pretty well done. And, the scraping is good. The only thing I'd say, there was a little area like over here, and it's gonna be hard to tell. That's a slightly different color, like a burnt color. You can kind of see it there. Everything else is pretty uniform. That was the only thing I saw. We get to the headstock. Done pretty well. I mean, it's a sticker. The triple binding there is kind of nice, although it's not triple bound on the neck. So it's just basic neck binding here, but then they went with a triple on the headstock. The tuners are, they're okay. They're basic, cheap import tuners. You'll notice one of them is crooked. That was one of the finish flaws I did find, that they didn't have that lined up right. But back of the neck, with this finish, I didn't find really any dust or particles. There's one right there that actually is just dust. It's not in the finish. This cover plate is really bad. So it does not fit at all. So that's one negative there, is that it's really poorly cut. I mean, I can fix that, but unfortunately, not as well done as the rest of the guitar. All right, I took off the back plate so you could see the wiring, and there's obviously a lot of wires because you got 3 humbuckers there. Not too bad, pretty clean, I guess. Maybe not as clean as you'd like, but not terrible. I don't know what this is for. I guess I don't know, to create a seal or something. I don't know. Everything is kind of import size. Obviously, this is a cheap guitar. The nice thing is that the humbuckers are tappable, which is cool, and they've got their box switch. But pretty basic layout, and it works fine and it sounds fine, but certainly small pots, that kind of thing. All right, so I've got the guitar plugged in, and I'll just do a couple chords so you can hear the difference and how the wiring is all set up. One of the things I've noticed, this is actually the other guitar that I bought. It's a very cool looking kind of gold top with P90s. And in testing the two, I've noticed that I really prefer the SG. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that this weighs like 5 pounds. That weighs like 9.5 pounds. It's a huge difference. It's literally almost twice as heavy. And this guitar just feels effortless to play. This one's really good too, but it's just so heavy that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or maybe do a project with it. Anyway, the way that the pickups are situated with the switching, generally you keep it in the middle position and you use the volume controls to turn pickups on or off. So if you turn them all off, you're off. But then you can turn one up, turn it off, turn the middle one on, and then go to, I think this is the neck. So I said all of these pickups are the same, and it's true. They're all the same pickup, but the placement of them in the guitar and the height of the pickup and all that can really affect the sound. Like I said, so this is the neck, and then this is the bridge. Pretty big difference, but they have the same resistance. And then a little distorted sound. those turned off. So when I go down to the bridge and mid, it turns them right off. But if I come back, and that's just the neck, and this is just the neck. So anyway, kind of interesting. What I'm going to do with this guitar, I think I'm going to get rid of the gold. I'm not a big fan of the gold. I'm going to go with nickel. I think I've got some Godo bridge and tailpiece somewhere. I'm going to look for some pickups, and I'm going to replace these with some, not crazy expensive, but something that's better than these. Hopefully I can do something locking. And, you know, I think that'll just be really cool just to have a kind of a, like I said, a nickel or chrome vibe, change all the screws and everything. And then I'm going to update this wiring, because this is fine, but like if you're playing rhythm and then you want to go to your bridge pickup for a solo or for a lead, you kind of have to fool with the volumes. You can't just bring it down. You kind of can, I guess, if you turn the mid pickup off. But anyway, I think I can do something where I either do a rotary switch, or I could do, there's like a special new switch I saw that has 6 positions, but it looks like a toggle, and it gives you all different, so you can like isolate the pickups and stuff. So anyway, that's the guitar. Really, really solid guitar for the money. Highly recommend it, especially if you're a modder. I think this is a great platform to, you know, basically, you know, put a $700-800 guitar out there for about $350 at the end of the day. And let's face it, if you were to buy an Epiphone brand new with this configuration, binding and all that, you're probably looking at about $700. This was $150. So even after doing my mods and everything, and having like professionally wired, I'm probably still at $350. So definitely a good value. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Please leave any comments below, especially if you disagree with me on pickup choice or the color or whatever. Love to hear from you. All right, thanks a lot.